Chosen one, stop everything you're doing right now. This is not a coincidence, not a random moment you stumbled upon. This is a divine interruption, a sacred alert straight from the throne of heaven. God is speaking directly to you, and the weight of this message is so urgent, so critical, that it demands your full attention. Picture a crimson scroll unfurling in the heavens, your name etched in radiant gold, shimmering with purpose. This is no ordinary day. This is the moment your soul has been aching for, the moment when heaven itself leans in to whisper truth into your spirit. You've been sensing it, haven't you? The restlessness in your heart, the heaviness in the air, the feeling that something monumental is about to shift. That's not your imagination, it's divine confirmation. But there's a warning, a storm on the horizon, and God is calling you to rise above it, to step into your destiny with unshakable faith. This video unveils a unique truth. The very fears and challenges threatening to overwhelm you are the keys to your greatest breakthrough. They are not here to break you, but to birth you into the fullness of your divine purpose. You've been through the fire, chosen one. You've faced nights where tears soaked your pillow, where doubts screamed louder than hope, where the weight of bad news, financial struggles, broken relationships, shattered dreams felt like it would crush you. Maybe you're staring at a bank account that's dwindling, a job that drains your soul, or a loved one who's drifted away. Perhaps you've heard whispers of betrayal, or you're wrestling with a diagnosis that feels like a death sentence. God sees every wound, every silent battle, every moment you've wondered, why me? But hear this. What looks like very bad news is not the end of your story, it's the beginning of your spiritual awakening. Psalm 34:19 declares, "The righteous person may have many troubles, but the Lord delivers them from them all." Your struggles are not random, they are divine preparation, sculpting you into a vessel of glory, ready to carry the overflowing blessings heaven has assigned to you. Let's talk about that bad news, chosen one. It feels heavy, doesn't it? Like a storm cloud blotting out the sun, threatening to drown your dreams in despair. But what if that storm is not here to destroy you, but to clear the path for your prosperous life? Imagine a mighty oak tree, its roots digging deeper during the fiercest winds, growing stronger because of the resistance. That's you. Every piece of bad news, every rejection, every delay, every loss, has been a divine setup, strengthening your roots in faith, preparing you for a breakthrough that will shake the foundations of your life. God is not ignoring your pain, He's using it to position you for abundance. Think of Joseph, sold into slavery, imprisoned unjustly, yet elevated to steward Egypt's wealth. His bad news was not a punishment, it was a pathway to his divine purpose. Your story is no different. The bad news you're facing is not a dead end, it's a doorway to financial freedom, personal transformation, and a life of divine provision. But here's the critical alert. You must act now. The enemy wants you to stay paralyzed, to let fear chain you to a mindset of scarcity. Heaven is sounding the alarm because this is your moment to break free. Picture a golden key glowing in your hand, inscribed with the words, "Faith over fear." This key unlocks the door to your destiny, but you must turn it with bold, intentional action. God is funding your vision, not with the world's resources, but with His eternal supply. Philippians 4:19 promises, "My God will meet all your needs according to the riches of His glory in Christ Jesus." This isn't about temporary relief. It's about a holy shift into a life where lack is a distant memory, where your faith journey becomes a testimony of God's plan unfolding in real time. Let me share a story to anchor this truth. There was a woman named Sarah, a single mother in her 40s, living in a small apartment in Chicago. She'd lost her job during a company downsizing and her savings were nearly gone. Bills piled up and her teenage son was acting out, feeling the weight of their struggles. Sarah felt like she was drowning in bad news. But one evening, scrolling through YouTube, she stumbled upon a message like this one. It stirred something in her spirit, a spark of hope she thought had died. Instead of surrendering to despair, she took small, faithful steps. She wrote down a vision for a catering business she'd always dreamed of starting. She reached out to a friend for a small loan, not out of desperation, but with a quiet confidence that God was moving. Within weeks, a local church hired her to cater an event, and word spread. Today, Sarah's business employs 5 people, and she's saving for her son's college. Her bad news became the soil for her breakthrough, because she chose faith over fear. Your story can be next, chosen one. Now, let's get practical. God is calling you to move from hearing to doing, from inspiration to action. Here are 3 specific steps you can take today to step into your divine moment. First, write down one clear goal for this week that aligns with your divine purpose. It could be starting a side hustle, applying for a new job, or even scheduling a conversation to mend a relationship. Put it on paper and place it where you'll see it daily. Habakkuk 2:2 says, "Write the vision, make it plain." This act of writing is a prophetic declaration that your prosperous life is beginning now. Second, reach out to someone who needs your light. Call a friend you haven't spoken to in months, forgive someone who hurt you, or volunteer an hour of your time. This step isn't about what you get, it's about what you give, activating the law of divine reciprocity. Luke 6:38 promises, "Give, and it will be given to you." Third, start that project you've been delaying. Whether it's a blog, a business plan, or a painting, take one tangible step today. A sketch, a phone call, a single paragraph. Your action signals to heaven that you're ready for divine provision to flow. These steps are your sacred contract with God, a commitment to trust His timing and provision. They're not about perfection, but about progress, about showing up as the chosen one you are. If this message is stirring your soul, consider supporting this ministry through Super Thanks. Your gift helps us spread the message of divine provision to more chosen ones like you, building a community of faith and abundance. And if your heart is resonating with this call, pause now and type "I am breaking free from fear" in the comments below. Let heaven see your declaration, and let this community of believers stand with you as you step into your destiny. But what if the bad news you're facing feels too big, too final? What if the doctor's report, the eviction notice, or the fractured relationship seems like an immovable mountain? Chosen one, God is bigger than your circumstances. Imagine a vast ocean, its waves crashing against a rocky shore. The rocks stand firm, not because they're stronger than the waves, but because they're anchored in something deeper. Your faith is that anchor, rooting you in God's unshakable promises. Isaiah 41:10 says, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God." The bad news is real, but it's not the final word. God is rewriting your story, turning ashes into beauty, scarcity into abundance, fear into a faith journey that radiates His glory. Let's pause to consider what this means for you. You're not just surviving. You're being positioned for a breakthrough that will ripple across generations. Think of David, a shepherd boy facing Goliath. The bad news? A giant with a sword, backed by an army. The good news? God's anointing on David's life, turning a slingshot into a weapon of victory. Your slingshot might be a single idea, a moment of courage, or a prayer whispered in desperation. Whatever it is, God is ready to multiply it into a miracle. Your financial freedom, your personal transformation, your divine purpose. They are not distant dreams, but realities, waiting for you to claim them. The question is, will you trust him enough to take the next step? As you stand at this crossroads, chosen one, know that heaven is watching. The angels are poised, ready to move at God's command. Your fears, your doubts, your bad news, they're not the end of the road. They're the raw materials God is using to craft your testimony. Picture a radiant tapestry, woven with threads of pain, hope, and triumph, each strand telling the story of your faith journey. You're not just a spectator in this divine narrative. You're the co-author, writing the next chapter with every choice you make. So, what will you choose? Will you let fear keep you small, or will you rise into the fullness of your divine purpose? The answer lies in your hands, and heaven is waiting to see what you'll do next. But what if the very thing you're afraid of is the doorway to the abundance God has promised you? Chosen one, let's dive deeper into this sacred moment, where the whispers of heaven are growing louder, urging you to see beyond the storm of bad news and into the radiant promise of your divine purpose. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a vast canyon, the winds of doubt howling around you. Yet a golden bridge shimmers into view, stretching toward a horizon ablaze with possibility. This bridge is your faith, and every step you take across it brings you closer to the prosperous life God has designed for you. The bad news you're facing, the financial strain, the fractured relationships, the health scares, or the dreams that seem to slip further away, those are not your destiny. They're merely shadows, temporary illusions that God is ready to dispel with his light. Romans 8:28 declares, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." Your calling is not to dwell in the shadows, but to rise into the brilliance of your spiritual awakening. Let's unpack this truth. The enemy wants you to believe that your current struggles define you, that the bad news is the final chapter. But God is turning the page, revealing a story of abundance, breakthrough, and personal transformation. Think of the Israelites at the Red Sea, trapped between Pharaoh's army and an impossible barrier. The bad news? They were cornered, with no way out. The good news? God parted the waters, leading them to freedom. Your Red Sea moment is here, chosen one. The obstacles that feel insurmountable are about to part, not because of your strength, but because of God's divine provision. He's not just clearing a path, he's paving a highway to your destiny, lined with opportunities, resources, and divine connections that will astonish you. Now let's ground this in a real-life story to make it tangible. Meet James, a 32-year-old teacher from Atlanta who faced a cascade of bad news last year. His car broke down, repair costs piled up, and his school announced budget cuts that threatened his job. At home, tension with his wife grew as they struggled to make ends meet. James felt like he was failing, his dreams of starting a community youth program fading under the weight of survival. But one Sunday, during a church service, a guest speaker shared a message about trusting God's timing. Something clicked. James went home and took the 3 steps we've shared. He wrote down his vision for the youth program, called a mentor to discuss funding ideas, and started drafting a grant proposal. Within a month, a local non-profit reached out, offering a partnership. Today, James's program serves dozens of kids, and his marriage is stronger than ever. His bad news was not a stop sign. It was a stepping stone to his divine purpose. Your story, chosen one, is ready to follow the same path. Let's revisit those 3 actionable steps, because they're your roadmap to claiming this breakthrough. First, you've written down one clear goal for this week. Maybe it's launching a small business, applying for a promotion, or rebuilding a relationship. Keep that goal visible, a daily reminder that your faith journey is active. Second, you've reached out to someone who needs your light. Perhaps you've called a friend to encourage them or forgiven someone who wounded you. This act of giving is unlocking divine reciprocity, drawing resources to you. Third, you've taken one tangible step toward that delayed project, a single action that tells heaven you're ready for overflow. These steps are your declaration that you're no longer a prisoner of fear, but a pioneer of prosperity. Stick with them, chosen one, and watch how God multiplies your obedience into miracles. But what about the fear that lingers, the voice whispering that this bad news is too big, that you're not enough? Let's confront that lie head-on. Fear is a thief, but faith is a builder. Imagine a potter at his wheel, shaping a clay vessel with care. The clay doesn't resist the potter's hands. It yields, trusting the process. You are that vessel, and God is shaping you through every trial, every piece of bad news, to hold the abundance He's pouring out. 2 Timothy 1:7 reminds us, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." Your fear is not your master. God is. When you feel overwhelmed, pause, breathe, and declare, "I am chosen, and my breakthrough is now." This simple act of faith shifts the atmosphere, aligning you with heaven's frequency of favor. Let's talk about that favor, because it's not just a concept, it's a force. Picture a radiant crown resting on your head, invisible to the world but undeniable in the spirit. This crown is God's favor, marking you as His chosen, drawing opportunities, people, and resources to you like a magnet. You don't have to chase financial freedom. It's chasing you. You don't have to beg for breakthroughs. They're seeking you out. This favor isn't earned by perfection, but received through faith. Maybe you'll get a call about a job you didn't apply for, or a stranger will offer help at just the right moment. These aren't coincidences. They're confirmations of God's plan unfolding. Your prosperous life is not a distant hope, but a present reality, unfolding with every step you take in trust. If this message is igniting hope in your spirit, join thousands of chosen souls by liking this video and subscribing to stay connected to your faith journey. Your engagement helps us build a community of believers walking in divine provision. And if your heart is saying, "This is for me," type, "I am claiming my breakthrough" in the comments below. Let this be your bold yes to God's call, a signal to heaven that you're ready to rise. Your voice matters, chosen one, and this community is standing with you, praying for your overflow. Let's address the urgency of this moment. The bad news you're facing is not just a challenge, it's a divine invitation to trust God like never before. Picture a ticking clock in the heavens, its hands moving swiftly toward your appointed time. This is not a time to shrink back, to let doubt steal your destiny. Hebrews 11:1 says, "Now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see." Your faith is the currency of heaven, and God is ready to exchange it for miracles. Maybe you're wondering, how will I pay that bill? Or how will I heal from this loss? The answer isn't in your bank account or your circumstances. It's in your alignment with God's promises. When you trust Him, solutions appear, doors open, and the impossible becomes your new normal. Let's imagine what this breakthrough looks like for you. Close your eyes for a moment and picture a radiant door with your name carved in gold standing open before you. Beyond it lies a life of abundance. Bills paid with ease, relationships restored with love, health renewed with vitality, and dreams birthed with impact. This is not a fantasy, it's your divine inheritance. But to walk through that door, you must release the baggage of fear, the weight of what if. God is not asking you to have all the answers. He's asking you to trust the one who does. Your personal transformation is already underway. and the bad news is simply the final push, propelling you into a season of overflowing blessings. As you stand in this sacred space, chosen one, know that you're not alone. Heaven's angels are encircling you, their wings brushing against the edges of your fears, whispering, "You are ready." The bad news that once felt like a curse is being transformed into a catalyst, igniting your spiritual awakening. You're not just surviving, you're thriving, stepping into a destiny that will leave a legacy for generations. But what if the next step you take is the one that unlocks the floodgates of God's provision, revealing a breakthrough bigger than you ever dared to dream? Chosen one, you're standing on holy ground, at the threshold of a divine moment where the bad news that once loomed like a dark cloud is being pierced by the radiant light of God's promises. Imagine a vast field at dawn, the first rays of sunlight breaking through the mist, illuminating every blade of grass with a golden glow. That's your life right now. Every shadow of fear, every piece of bad news is being transformed by the warmth of heaven's favor. This is not a time to retreat, but to advance, to claim the spiritual awakening that's been stirring in your soul. The urgent alert from God is clear. Your destiny is calling, and the challenges you face are not barriers but bridges to a prosperous life. Deuteronomy 31:6 commands, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you." Your breakthrough is not just possible, it's inevitable, if you dare to trust His voice. Let's lean into this truth. The bad news, whether it's a financial crisis, a health scare, a broken relationship, or a dream that feels out of reach, has been loud, hasn't it? It screamed at you, trying to drown out the still, small voice of God. But that voice is growing stronger now, whispering, "You are mine, and I am funding your purpose." Picture a mighty river, its current swift and unstoppable, carving a path through even the hardest stone. That's God's provision flowing toward you, cutting through every obstacle, bringing resources, opportunities, and clarity. The enemy wants you to focus on the rocks, the bad news, the setbacks, but God is calling you to see the river, to trust the flow of His divine plan. Your personal transformation is not a distant hope, but a present reality, unfolding with every moment you choose faith over fear. Let's anchor this with another story, one that brings this truth to life. Meet Lisa, a 28-year-old graphic designer from Seattle who faced a torrent of bad news 2 years ago. Her freelance business dried up during an economic downturn, her apartment lease was ending, and a close friend betrayed her trust, leaving her feeling isolated. Lisa was ready to give up, convinced her dreams of owning a design studio were dead. But one night, unable to sleep, she found a video that spoke directly to her spirit, much like this one. It challenged her to act in faith. Lisa revisited the 3 steps we've shared. She wrote down her goal to pitch her portfolio to local businesses, reached out to a former client to rebuild a connection, and started designing a logo for her dream studio. Within weeks, a coffee shop owner hired her for a branding project, which led to more clients. Today, Lisa's studio is thriving, and she's mentoring young designers. Her bad news was not her defeat. It was the spark that ignited her faith journey. Your bad news, chosen one, is ready to do the same. Those 3 steps, writing a goal, reaching out to someone, and starting a delayed project, are your sacred tools, your slingshot against the Goliaths of fear and doubt. Keep that written goal in front of you, a beacon of your divine purpose. Continue to pour out your light to others, knowing that every act of kindness is a seed planted in heaven's soil. And hold fast to that project you've begun, trusting that your single step is enough to unlock God's overflow. These actions are not just tasks. They're declarations to the universe that you're ready for abundance, for financial freedom, for a life that radiates God's glory. If this message is stirring your heart, join our community of believers by liking this video and subscribing to stay anchored in your prosperous life. Your support fuels this ministry, and together we're building a movement of chosen ones walking in divine provision. Now, let's talk about the fear that tries to creep in. The voice that says, "What if this bad news is all there is?" That's a lie, chosen one, and it's time to silence it. Imagine a lighthouse standing firm against a raging storm, its beam cutting through the darkness, guiding ships to safety. You are that lighthouse, and your faith is the light that no storm can extinguish. John 4:4 proclaims, "The one who is in you is greater than the one who is in the world." The bad news may be loud, but God is louder. The setbacks may feel heavy, but His promises are weightier. When fear knocks, answer with faith. Declare, "My God is bigger than my circumstances, and my breakthrough is now." This isn't just positive thinking, it's spiritual warfare, aligning your spirit with heaven's truth. Let's paint a picture of what's waiting on the other side of this moment. Close your eyes and envision a garden in full bloom, every flower bursting with color, every tree heavy with fruit. This is your life when you step fully into God's plan. A life of overflowing blessings, where bills are paid with ease, relationships are restored with grace, and your purpose shines like a city on a hill. This garden isn't a fantasy, it's your divine inheritance, cultivated by every tear you've shed, every prayer you've whispered, every step you've taken in faith. But to walk into this garden, you must let go of the weeds, the doubts, the regrets, the what-ifs that keep you tethered to scarcity. God is not pruning you to punish you, He's pruning you to prosper you, preparing you for a season of divine acceleration. That acceleration is already beginning, chosen one. You may not see it yet, but the wheels of heaven are turning. Picture a golden clock in the sky, its hands ticking toward your appointed time. Maybe tomorrow a stranger will offer a kind word that shifts your perspective. Maybe next week an unexpected check will arrive, or a door will open to a new opportunity. These are not random events. They're divine appointments, orchestrated by a God who sees every detail of your life. Psalm 37:23 assures us, "The steps of a good person are ordered by the Lord." Your steps are not aimless, they're purposeful, leading you to a breakthrough that will not only change your life, but touch the lives of those around you. Your prosperity is missional, designed to overflow into your family, your community, your world. If your spirit is resonating with this truth, pause now and type, "I am walking in divine favor" in the comments below. Let this be your prophetic act, a signal to heaven that you're claiming your place in God's economy of abundance. Your voice is joining thousands of chosen ones, creating a chorus of faith that echoes in the spiritual realm. This community is your strength, your reminder that you're not walking alone. Every comment, every prayer, every shared story is a thread in the tapestry of our collective breakthrough, woven together by God's grace. But what about the moments when faith feels hard, when the bad news seems to outweigh the promises? Chosen one, those moments are not your weakness. They're your training ground. Think of a marathon runner pushing through the final miles, legs burning, lungs aching. The pain isn't a sign of failure. It's proof of endurance, of a body being forged for victory. Your struggles are forging you, building a resilience that will carry you into your prosperous life. When the weight feels too heavy, lean into God's presence. Isaiah 40:31 promises, "Those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles." Your strength is not in your circumstances, but in your connection to the one who never fails. As you stand in this divine moment, know that heaven is cheering you on. The angels are watching, their voices rising in a symphony of victory. The bad news that tried to define you is crumbling under the weight of God's truth. You're not just surviving, you're rising, stepping into a destiny that will leave a legacy of faith, hope, and love. Your life is a living testimony, a beacon of what it means to trust God in the storm and emerge in the sunlight of His favor. But what if the next choice you make, the next step you take, is the one that unlocks a flood of divine provision, revealing a breakthrough that will echo for generations? Chosen one, you're in the midst of a divine encounter, where the urgent alert from heaven is piercing through the noise of your bad news, calling you to rise into the fullness of your divine purpose. Picture a majestic mountain peak, shrouded in clouds, its summit glowing with a light that beckons you upward. That light is God's promise, illuminating the path to your spiritual awakening, and every step you take toward it is a declaration that fear will not hold you back. The bad news, whether it's a financial burden, a fractured relationship, a health crisis, or a dream deferred, may feel like a heavy fog, but it's no match for the radiance of God's plan. Joshua 1:9 commands, "Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." This is your moment to climb, to trust that the breakthrough awaiting you is not just a possibility, but a divine certainty, crafted for your prosperous life. Let's unpack the weight of this moment. The bad news has been relentless, hasn't it? It's whispered lies of lack, telling you that you're stuck, that your dreams are too big, that your pain is your permanent address. But God is rewriting that narrative, turning every trial into a testimony of His faithfulness. Imagine a tapestry woven with threads of gold and crimson, each stitch representing a moment of your faith journey. Every tear, every prayer, every act of courage. This tapestry is your life. And the bad news is not a flaw in the design, but a contrast that makes the gold shine brighter. Your personal transformation is unfolding, not in spite of your struggles, but because of them. God is using every challenge to refine you, to prepare you for a season of abundance that will overflow into every corner of your existence. Let's ground this in another story, one that mirrors your journey. Consider Maria, a 45-year-old nurse from Dallas who faced a cascade of bad news last year. Her hospital cut her hours, her aging mother's health declined, and her marriage was strained by constant arguments over money. Maria felt like she was sinking, her dream of opening a community health clinic fading under the weight of survival. But one evening, while scrolling online, she found a message that stirred her spirit, much like this one. It urged her to act in faith, to trust God's time. Maria embraced the 3 steps we've shared. She wrote down her vision for the clinic, called a colleague to explore partnerships, and started researching grants. Within months, a local foundation offered seed funding, and her husband joined her in the effort, rekindling their bond. Today, Maria's clinic serves hundreds, and her mother's health has stabilized. Her bad news was not her end. It was the catalyst for her divine provision. Your bad news, chosen one, is poised to do the same. Those 3 steps, writing a goal, reaching out to someone, and starting a delayed project, are your sacred blueprint, your keys to unlocking heaven's storehouse. Keep that written goal as a daily reminder of your divine purpose, a prophetic act that aligns you with God's plan. Continue to extend your light to others, whether through a kind word, a forgiving gesture, or a small act of service, knowing that your generosity is a magnet for divine favor. And hold fast to that project you've begun, trusting that your single step is a signal to heaven that you're ready for overflow. These actions are not mere tasks. They're your covenant with God, a commitment to walk in faith and claim your prosperous life. If this message is igniting your spirit, consider supporting this ministry through Super Thanks. Your gift helps us spread the truth of divine provision to more chosen ones, building a community rooted in faith and abundance. Let's confront the fear that tries to creep in, the doubt that says, "This bad news is too big, too final." That's a deception, chosen one, and it's time to cast it out. Picture a roaring lion, its jaws wide, its growl echoing through the darkness. That's fear, trying to intimidate you. But now imagine a radiant figure stepping forward, a shepherd with a staff of light, silencing the lion with a single word. That shepherd is God, and his word is your shield. 1 Peter 5:8-9 warns, "Be alert and of sober mind. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. Resist him, standing firm in the faith. Your faith is your resistance, your weapon against every lie. When fear rises, declare, 'My God is my provider and my breakthrough is here.'" This isn't just a statement, it's a spiritual decree, shifting the atmosphere and aligning you with heaven's abundance. Let's envision what this breakthrough looks like. Picture a golden vault in the heavens, its doors swinging open, releasing a torrent of blessings, resources, opportunities, healing and peace. This vault is your divine inheritance. And the bad news is merely the key turning in the lock, opening the way to financial freedom and personal transformation. Maybe it's a job offer that exceeds your expectations, a reconciliation with a loved one, or a sudden clarity that propels your dream forward. These are not fantasies. They're divine realities, orchestrated by a God who knows every detail of your life. Psalm 23:1 proclaims, "The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing." Your lack is ending, chosen one, and your overflow is beginning, not because of your effort, but because of God's grace. If your heart is pounding with this truth, pause now and type, "I am rising in God's favor" in the comments below. Let this be your bold declaration, a signal to heaven that you're stepping into your destiny with courage. Your voice joins a chorus of chosen ones, a community united in faith, praying for each other's breakthroughs. This act of commenting isn't just engagement. It's a prophetic step, anchoring you in the reality of God's promises. Your story matters, and this community is standing with you, lifting you up as you claim your place in heaven's economy. But what about the moments when the bad news feels like it's winning, when the weight of it threatens to pull you under? Chosen one, those moments are not your defeat. They're your proving ground. Think of a diamond formed under immense pressure, its brilliance born from the crush of the earth. Your trials are that pressure, shaping you into a vessel of glory, ready to shine with God's light. Isaiah 43:2 assures, "When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and when you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you." You're not drowning, you're being refined, prepared for a season of divine acceleration, where doors open, resources flow, and your purpose takes flight. When the weight feels heavy, lean into God's presence, whisper a prayer, and trust that He's working behind the scenes. As you stand in this sacred space, know that heaven is moving on your behalf. The angels are circling, their voices rising in an anthem of triumph. The bad news that tried to chain you is breaking under the weight of God's truth. You're not just surviving, you're soaring, stepping into a destiny that will echo through generations. Your life is a testament to what it looks like to trust God in the storm and emerge in the radiance of His favor. But what if the next moment of courage, the next act of faith, is the one that unleashes a flood of divine provision, transforming your bad news into a story of victory that inspires the world. Chosen one, you're standing at the precipice of a divine transformation, where the bad news that once felt like a crushing weight is now crumbling beneath the unstoppable force of God's promises. Imagine a radiant sunrise, its golden rays piercing through a stormy sky, painting the world with hope. That's your life in this very moment. Every piece of bad news, every fear, every setback is being overtaken by the brilliance of your spiritual awakening. The urgent alert from heaven is not just a call to endure, but a command to rise, to claim the prosperous life that God has written for you. Jeremiah 29:11 declares, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Your future is not defined by the storms of today, but by the divine purpose that burns within you, ready to ignite a breakthrough that will echo for generations. Let's dive deeper into this sacred truth. The bad news. Whether it's a dwindling bank account, a strained relationship, a health challenge, or a dream that feels impossibly distant, has been a loud voice trying to drown out God's whisper. But that whisper is now a roar, proclaiming that you are chosen, equipped, and funded by heaven itself. Picture a mighty fortress, its walls unshakable, standing firm against every assault. That's your spirit, fortified by faith, guarded by angels, and anchored in God's eternal provision. The enemy wants you to see only the cracks, the bad news, the delays, but God is calling you to see the fortress, to trust that your personal transformation is already underway, your financial freedom, your healing, your divine destiny. They are not distant hopes, but realities unfolding with every step you take in faith. Let's revisit the 3 steps that are your sacred tools for this journey. First, you've written down one clear goal for this week, a vision for a new job, a restored relationship, or a bold project. Keep that goal before you, a tangible reminder that your faith journey is active, aligning you with God's plan. Second, you've reached out to someone with your light. Perhaps a call to encourage a friend, a gesture of forgiveness, or a small act of service. This act of giving is a seed planted in heaven's soil, drawing abundance back to you. Third, you've taken a step toward that delayed project. A single action, like drafting a business plan or sketching a design, that signals to heaven you're ready for overflow. These steps are your covenant with God, a commitment to move from fear to faith, from scarcity to a prosperous life. Hold fast to them, chosen one, for they are the keys to your breakthrough. Now let's address the urgency of this moment one final time. The bad news may feel like a storm raging around you, but God is the calm at its center, calling you to trust Him fully. Picture a golden compass in your hand, its needle pointing unerringly toward your divine purpose, no matter how fierce the winds blow. This compass is your faith, guiding you through every trial, leading you to a season of divine provision. Psalm 46:1 proclaims, "God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble." The bad news is not your master, God is. When fear tries to grip you, declare, "My God is my provider and my abundance is now." This is not just a prayer, it's a spiritual decree, shifting the atmosphere and opening the floodgates of heaven's blessings. Let's paint one final picture of what's awaiting you. Close your eyes and imagine a radiant banquet hall, its tables overflowing with every good thing. Provision, peace, purpose, and joy. Your name is etched on a golden chair at the head of the table, a place reserved for you by the Creator Himself. This is your divine inheritance, a life where bills are paid with ease, relationships are restored with love, and your dreams take flight with impact. The bad news was merely the invitation to this feast, the catalyst that pushed you to trust God's timing. As you sit at this table, you'll see the faces of those you've touched, your family, your community, even strangers who've been blessed by your obedience. Your prosperity is not just for you, it's missional, designed to overflow into the world, leaving a legacy of faith and hope. If this message has stirred your soul, join thousands of chosen ones by liking this video and subscribing to stay connected to your faith journey. Your engagement fuels this ministry, building a community of believers walking in divine favor. And if your heart is shouting, "This is my moment," pause now and type, "I am seated at God's table," in the comments below. Let this be your final declaration, a prophetic act that seals your commitment to rise above the bad news and claim your breakthrough. Your voice is powerful, chosen one, and this community is praying for your overflow, standing with you as you step into your destiny. As we draw this sacred moment to a close, know that heaven is celebrating you. The angels are singing, their voices weaving a melody of triumph over your life. The bad news that tried to define you is now a footnote, overshadowed by the story God is writing, a story of resilience, faith, and divine provision. You're not just surviving, you're thriving, stepping into a destiny that will inspire generations. Let's seal this moment with a powerful prayer, a holy communion with the God who sees you, loves you, and is funding your future. Heavenly Father, Almighty God, the one who holds the stars and knows every beat of our hearts, we come before you now with awe and gratitude. Thank you for this divine encounter, for speaking directly to your chosen ones through this urgent alert. You see every tear we've shed, every fear we've faced, every piece of bad news that tried to steal our hope. Psalm 34:18 reminds us, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." We feel your presence now, Father, wrapping us in your love, lifting us above our storm. Lord, we declare that we are not defined by bad news, but by your promises. We release every lie of lack, every chain of fear, every doubt that kept us small. We stand on your word in Philippians 4:19, trusting that you will supply all our needs according to your riches in glory. Anoint our steps, Father, as we walk in the three actions we've committed to: writing our vision, giving our light, and starting what we've delayed. Multiply these seeds of faith into a harvest of abundance, healing, and purpose. We pray for divine favor to surround us like a shield, opening doors no man can shut, bringing resources, connections, and opportunities that align with your plan. Silence the voice of fear, Lord, and amplify your truth in our hearts. Let our lives be living testimonies of your goodness, shining